Hi, folks. Folks, you with Tacitus today. Tacitus today at your Pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about the economics of some of these illegal alien migrant camps that are in, say Calais in France. Now, I saw an article that was looking at, or complaining, if you like, or pointing out the cost of keeping these people in these camps. Now, whenever I see pictures of them, photographs, or news reporting of any sort, they all seem to be rather well fed, well dressed. The clothes appear to be clean, and they look quite new. The joggers that they've got all seem like they just bought them from the shop yesterday, or were given to them yesterday, I should say. They have water, they have food. They say they have mobile phones. So where does all this come from? Now, even if you look at sort of the absolute minimum, like an absolute bargain basement level of maintenance and care, they're getting brand name clothing. They're not getting the cheapest clothing from Walmart or something. They seem to be a lot of big brand names in the clothes and the shoes they've got, and so on. They're able to find new warm clothing that again, some of it looks cheap, but a lot of it looks brand name as well. How are these clothes looking so new and so well washed? Are they patrons of the local laundromat or something like that? And now, if you look at the amount of rubbish and trash that these camps generate, and you see that and some of them are claiming, hey, we don't bother to wash our clothes, we just throw them out, and the NGO charity gives us new ones. But if you look at the cost of maintaining, for example, the camps around Calais, now, absolute minimum. Now, this is absolute minimum, and I suspect this is going to be double this. It's 125 million US dollars a year just to maintain those camps in Calais, and they're sort of a cluster. They're in the area. Now, this includes food, giving people tents and sleeping bags, giving them clothing, regularly giving them fresh sort of sleeping bags and clothing, and so on. Portable toilets and showers with all the other facilities supplied, like shampoo or whatever, soap and so on, towels to dry themselves with and the like. And because of the laundry facilities not being adequate, typically they're just trashing everything and getting new stuff. So that bumps up the cost again. They're giving clean water, and so even though some of these camps are large, there isn't much in the way of sewerage around because they're given all these portable toilet and shower facilities. Now, there's various NGOs that are paying for all this. Now, this paying for all these facilities encourages these people to stay there. They're living completely free. I mean, everything they need is paid for by these NGOs. And it just goes to show how well funded the global people movement industry is. Now, something that struck me is that the average time these people are spending in these camps before they say get to Britain on the dinghies and that sort of stuff, or maybe they go somewhere else. But the average time is over 2 years. So if you look at the cost of keeping someone in the camp for 2 years, let's say again, let's do it on the cheap side. Let's say 60,000 US dollars, for example, to keep people in the camps there, feeding, clothing, all the other bits and pieces, and the overall administrative costs of providing all those, portable bathroom facilities and mobile phones and so on. Now, bear in mind, these mobile phones, these people are calling all over the world. They're calling back to their buddies in the third world shithole that they came from. They're calling friends and relatives that are all over Europe who freeloaded and illegal aliened their way through Europe and that sort of stuff. So they're these sort of to be able to call internationally, then spend all day on the fucking phone. These things aren't cheap. And they're given these phones. So if you look at the overall cost, you're looking 50, 60,000 a year per person. Now, given that the average stay is about 30 months or just shy of 30 months in these camps, you're looking at over $100,000 to have this illiterate, illegal alien with no skills, nothing to offer, nothing but the illegal alien there, and the NGO is supporting this. Now, wouldn't you give them $20,000 to go back where they came from? The economics of this are insane, and it demonstrates the ideological sort of bent of it all. That no, we want to move black peasants into the white first world, and we don't care what it costs. We don't care what damage it does. Again, this thing about ideology, we don't care about the collateral damage. This is what we're going to do. But it illustrates how well funded and how determined these globalists are and the NGOs they control to go down a path that makes no sense, that is economically destructive and, quite frankly, perverse in its goals and objectives. So having a look at this going back rather this Calais camp, the vast cost, almost any alternative than the one they're pursuing of keeping those people there, any alternative would be superior. So even if they gave these people $50,000 each to go back where the fuck they came from, that would be a more economic solution. So why do the NGOs do it? Well, the NGOs are being it's a scam, a massive international globalist scam. They're all registered as charities. So they don't have to pay tax. And B, any donation that they get is in turn tax deductible from the company that donates to them. So if a well-known jogging shoes company or sports shoes business gives them 10,000, for example, 10,000 pairs of shoes, that'll be valued at X. That becomes a donation, which then becomes a tax deduction for the donating company. So they can write the whole lot off on tax. And then the charity that gets it, they then disperse it for free. And they don't have to pay on any cash donation. They don't have to pay tax on it and so on. So they can disperse and if they do run a risk of making profit, they can quickly disperse it to the sons and daughters of politicians or something as consulting fees, so they can still burn the money pretty quickly if they want to. So this is the scenario. Now, let's suppose that the Western governments would say to these NGOs, well, you're losing your charity status. So straight away, any donation that was made to them would come at an absolute cost. It couldn't be written off on tax by any company. And any donation they received, they would have to pay tax on the value of it. The NGO would have to pay tax on the value of it, and so on. So and they just couldn't go around, burning money in the way that an NGO charity does. So they would be put in their position would be impossible. They couldn't do it. Their costs of operating would more than double. So they would have to. They wouldn't get the donations. And if they did, their operating costs would double because they'd be liable for tax and different standards of accounting, by the IRS. So that could stop it sort of dead in its tracks. The French government, if they wanted to, could clear these camps away, within minutes if they wanted to, but they don't. So again, we're looking at the NGOs working in conjunction with the globalists and all the entire people moving apparatus around the globe, which is huge and superbly well funded, as you can see from this, and also determination to spend whatever amount of money it takes and to stay laser focused on people moving, black peasants to the white West, stay laser focused on that ideological objective, and that the Western governments, the European Union, the NGOs, the United Nations, they're all complicit in, as indeed are the globalist controlled media, complicit in presenting the people in the Calais camps as victims. Well, hold on a minute, you got yourself there, you passed through 10, 15, 20 different countries to get to Calais, and you say you're an oppressed victim? You got to be kidding me. And you're being generously subsidised by. Let's look at the illegal aliens. They don't get any subsidy. The NGO, they only go there and stay there because the NGOs are paying for everything. What if the NGOs didn't and they had to go? They couldn't get anything to eat or drink or anywhere to stay. They'd go. Firstly, they wouldn't leave wherever it was they came from, and secondly, they would hardly stay there more than 5 minutes when they realise they're only staying there. And this is what facilitates the people movement. They're only staying there because the globalist controlled NGOs are paying for everything. And many of them are living, even if it's in a tent, are living a better standard of living in France in a tent city than they would be in their own where they came from. They're getting better food, more of it, better clothes, more of them, and so on. You've been with Tacitus today, your Pushback channel, and thank you for listening.